Okay, so today we are still solving quadratic equations. Today, though, we are going to have to factor in order to solve equations. The first way we are going to do it is to use what is called the zero product property. So if we look here, this one's already factored for us. So to use the zero property product, you know in order for this to equal 0 like it says, it either has to be 0 times this number or this number times 0, because anything times 0 will give us the solution 0 here. So what you do is you set each part or each term equal to 0 and solve. So x plus 5 equals 0 would give me x equals negative 5. Or our second option here would be the second term set equal to 0. And so we would end up with 2x equals 6, so x would equal 3. So our two solutions there are x equals negative 5 or x equals 3. So basically, if it's factored, you just set each term to 0 and solve for it, and that will give you your solutions. The next one is not already factored, so you have to factor first and then use the zero property or product property. So if I look here, if I factor this, since the second sign is positive, both my signs are going to be positive in this case since that middle one is positive. I have x and x. The factors of 8, 1 and 8, 2 and 4, they have to add to give me the 6 since the signs are the same. 2 and 4 add to give me the 6. So now it's factored, and now I set each term equal to 0 and solve. So I set x plus 2 equal to 0, so x equals negative 2. Or x plus 4 equals 0, so x equals negative 4. So our two solutions there are x equals negative 2 or x equals negative 4. On our next one then, first of all, remember it has to be equal to 0 in order to solve. So it's not equal to 0, so I need to get it equal to 0, so I need to move that 88. So I have 2x squared minus 5x minus 88 equals 0. And now that that's equal to 0, I can go ahead and I can solve it. Since my second sign is negative, I'm going to have different signs. My factors of 2 are only 1 and 2, so I'm going to do 1x and 2x. Factors of 88, there's quite a few, so I have to do 1 and 88, 2 and 44, 4 and 22, and 8 and 11. And I need, when I check these, since they're going to be different signs, I need these two to subtract and give me negative 5. So I'm just going to start, and I'm pretty sure those two are too big, so I'm going to try 4 and 22. 4 times 2 would give me 8, and 22 times 1 would give me 22. 22 minus 8 is not 5. So the next thing I'm going to try is 8 and 11. If I do 8 times 2, that gives me 16 x, and 11 times 1 gives me 11x. If I subtract those, it would give me 5. I need it to be a negative 5, so 16 needs to be bigger. So negative 16x plus 11x gives me the negative 5x that I need. So there is it factored, and now I set each part equal to 0. So x minus 8 equals 0, x equals 8, or 2x plus 11 equals 0, 2x equals negative 11, x would equal negative 5.5. So my solutions there are x equals 8 or x equals negative 5.5. Our real-world problem solving then says the diagram shows a pattern for an open top box. The total area of the sheet of material used, and that should say at, the manufacturer, or to manufacture the box, is 288 square inches. The height of the box is 3 inches. Therefore, 3 inches by 3 inch squares are cut from each corner. Find the dimensions of the box. So the white is the wasted space. Basically, this is if you take the box and you lay it flat. So if we look here, we know what the area is. Well, if we are trying to find the area of this cardboard that was used. It is a rectangle, so the area is equal to length times width. So I need to find what the length and the width are. I know the area was 288. Well, if I look here, if I say this is the width and this is the length, either way, it wouldn't matter which. Remember, the 3 is what's cut out. So the total width of this piece is x plus 6. Because you have 3 plus 3 is 6, and you had an x in the middle, so x plus 6. For our length then, again we have 3 plus 2 here, plus 3 would give me 8, and I have x, so it would be x plus 8. So I'm going to sub that in for both the length and the width. So the length is x plus 8 times the width, which is x plus 6. I'm going to go ahead and simplify the right-hand side then. So I'm going to FOIL, so I get x squared plus 8x plus 6x, which gives me plus 14x, plus 8 times 6 is 48. So you could use the distributive property there or the FOIL method, either one. Well, and now I need to solve this. Well, to solve it, I have to have it equal to 0. So I need to move 288 to the other side by subtracting the negative, or the 288. So I get 0 equals x squared plus 14x minus 240. And now that it's set equal to 0, I can factor it and use our zero product property to solve. So since the second sign is negative, my signs are going to be different. Factors of 240 then, that subtract to give me 14. There's a whole bunch of factors. Let me change my color, maybe they'll show up better. I have 1 and 240, that doesn't work to give me 14. 2 and 120. 3 times 80, 4 times 60, 5 times 48, 6 times 40, 8 times 30, and 10 times 24. I can stop when I find my answer. 10 and 24. If I do 24 minus 10, it gives me the 14 I need. So I have 24 and 10. Since this is bigger, my bigger number needs to be positive. So if I check to make sure it works, that would give me 24x. That would give me negative 10x, which would give me a positive 14x. So it does work. And now I'm going to use the zero products property to go ahead and solve it. So x plus 24 is telling me equals 0, is telling me that x could equal negative 24. Or x minus 10 equals to 0 is telling me x could equal 10. So if I look there, if I'm talking about the length here, the width is just this part right here of the actual box. Let me highlight it. So if we're just talking about the actual box, this would be the width, which is x. Well, a width cannot be negative, so the width would have to be 10. So it asks for the dimension, so it would be 10 by, my length then of the box would be this, because remember they fold up the sides, x plus 2. Well, 10 plus 2 is 12, and it said here this would actually represent the height there because they're going to fold it up, and that was 3. So my dimensions of this box are 10 by 12 by 3. Go ahead and complete the quick checks, and then you can look at your assignment.